Don't look happy or you'll be arrested. War too is a way of hiding death from death, says Aichinger on how not learning to live with our mortality is part of why wars exist. This is a collage from her interviews. I met an acquaintance who said, "Don't look happy like that or you'll be arrested." There wasn't much of a chance for us to survive, Ilse Aichinger recollects from World War II. After the war, I just wanted to explain to myself what happened. This is where the greater hope came from, says Aichinger. The mediocrity that swept over us, the real danger, is not in the delusions, but in those adapted to them. On the tram, I sometimes look at people and think, who would be willing to help? Empathizing means to imagine that I have someone else's worries as well. People no longer have a need to have experiences, says Aichinger. She says she wants to believe in the good in people that one day has to come back. She says the birds start singing when it's still dark. Kafka was a prophet. I couldn't read Kafka because the power, the political power and the power of existence is captured so massively in it, Ilse Aichinger says. What I most despise is any abuse of power, even the slightest. I draw my energy from anger, which I hope will result in literature, Ilse Aichinger says. Forget the small dreams, so the big ones are not forgotten. I have learned that granted wishes are unhappiness, says Ilse Aichinger. It is extremely difficult to live with unfulfilled desires, says Ilse Aichinger on how granted wishes are unhappiness. What a disaster it is to live without disaster. One has the feeling that life, which I consider to be a catastrophe in itself, is not made clear. One has the feeling that the environment is indistinct and one becomes indistinct, says Ilse Aichinger. Too often the lucky one doesn't see the privilege but rather thinks, I'm lucky so I'm okay, says Ilse Aichinger. I think positive thinking is the opposite of thinking anyway. I am interested in the weakness of the world, the broken lines, the failures, says Ilse Aichinger. I don't understand authors who write to leave a mark. Learning to die, learning to be with serenity and fear. Happiness can arise this way. And when you write, you counter, says Ilse Aichinger. One learns patience by countering and vice versa, says Aichinger. Everyone wants to continue to exist at all costs, as if death is a failure. In the past, the view was different. Death was not a failure, nothing has to stay. The main thing is that something new is coming, says Ilse Aichinger. There's happiness, but no will. To exist requires a certain asceticism. My underdog position is that I don't want to compete. The losers have always appealed to me, says Aichinger in the book Es muss gar nichts bleiben.